Welcome to today's Lonnroth News Show, and I'm your host, Lars Lonnroth, and we have a bunch of stories to cover today, so be sure to stay tuned, and we're gonna get started right now. Former U.S. President Jimmy Carter told BBC Radio 4 that the current campaign finance system is basically legal bribery. The current system is based upon the Supreme Court's 2010 decision of Citizens United, which essentially gave any rich corporation or person to be able to donate as much money to any candidate as they please. This system has allowed for the flourishing of many super PACs who use money as a way to gain political influence on their ideals that they want their candidates to support. Carter claims that back in 1976, when he was running for president, candidates did not need as much money as they need now to be able to be legitimate. But now in the current political system, quote, there's a massive infusion of hundreds of millions of dollars into campaigns for all the candidates. The former president estimated that now candidates need around 100 million to 200 million just to be able to be nominated for their party. But recently, there has been some suggestion that we should have some campaign finance reform. And as presidential candidate Bernie Sanders suggests, that maybe now it's time to, quote, get big money out of politics. While on the topic of campaigns, presidential candidate Rand Paul has decided that it's time to bring an end to his campaign after his poor results in the Iowa caucuses. Rand is the son of former U.S. Senator and presidential candidate Ron Paul, who both share very libertarian values. A few nights ago during the Iowa caucuses, Rand was hoping that there would be a huge surge from college campuses who would vote for Paul and his ideals. But that ended up not happening, and he was only able to secure 4.5% of the votes in Iowa, which ended up placing him at 5th place in the Republican field. Paul has been a longtime opposer of the United States Patriot Act, which infamously was spying on regular U.S. citizens like you and me. The law was passed back in 2001 in response to the 9/11 terror attacks that occurred on that year. Despite that, Paul has had a large number of controversies throughout his political career. Paul was chastised back in 2015, where he was called out by members of the scientific community after claiming that he has heard of many tragic cases of walking, talking, normal children who would end up with profound mental disorders after vaccines. Now that Paul is out of the race, the presidential field for the Republicans is much smaller. What started out as 17 people has now dwindled down to only 10. And that is likely to go down as time goes on and the presidential campaign kicks up into full gear. And some realize that they cannot achieve what they need to be able to be a legitimate candidate. And after the Iowa caucuses, there's been Rand, O'Malley, then going to Huckabee. It is now clear that many more candidates will be dropping out in the near future. In more U.S. news, case of the disease Zika in the U.S. was likely caused by sexual contact, according to the BBC. The woman who's located in Dallas, Texas, likely contracted the disease after having sexual relations with a partner who just got back from a trip to Venezuela, where he likely caught the disease. Zika is a disease that is suspected to cause abnormally small heads in children who are born from infected parents. The disease has raised alarms in the international community after a large number of cases have been reported in countries across South America and in many other countries around that area. While the correlation between small heads as well as underdeveloped brains is not confirmed, giving birth to children with abnormally small heads. Many of the symptoms of the disease are not visible in 80% of the cases of people who have contracted the disease, and that makes this disease hard to combat. With many people, the disease goes under their radar. But the disease poses the largest threat to parents who are expecting children in the near future. The disease has ended up spreading rapidly across South America and is actively being transmitted in 31 countries across the globe. Zika appeared in Brazil back in 2015, but some experts in infectious diseases have said that the disease could spread to 4 million people before it stopped. But the spread of the disease could be exuberated after the Olympics are set to occur in Brazil, where the disease has been spreading most rapidly. That's all the time we have. My name is Lars Lonnroth. Be sure to like and comment on this video, as well as subscribing to The Lever Today for more high-quality content about news and other very important information that you should be getting to know. My name is Lars Lonnroth, and thank you for watching.